Welcome to the danger zone. Holy smokus, it ain't no jokus. We have officially entered the danger zone of the pre-halving sell-off of the crypto markets. Couple that with tomorrow and the Fed meeting for potential bad news from the Fed, and we're seeing a widespread crypto sell-off, Bitcoin, Shiba Inu, everything basically. But it's normal. It's part of the game. Let's play with the bubbles a little bit. The same way we have these parabolic moves to the upside, sometimes we'll have a little bit of pullbacks. We're going to talk about what could we potentially do here and how we can make ourselves in a better position going forward for these kinds of movements. I warned a lot over the past week or so, once I saw the momentum stopping, that this was a high probability possibility, and it happened. I'm not freaking out about it. I'm not, running to the hills. This is normal, okay? It's as planned for the most part. Right? People might say, well, this cycle is different. No, this cycle apparently is not different than other cycles, right? And if that's true, we're going to benefit from phase 4, right? And we'll talk about, we're now in phase 2, right? We'll talk about that in just a second. So all I ask is that you give me a beautiful smile, smash that like button, and let's do the Shiba Shake. So currently, if we take a look, the price of Shiba Inu is at 0.402477, down 7% on the day. It basically retraced all of the movement that it saw here a few days ago, right? So if we saw a drop, then we saw it popping up back, and now we're seeing this movement. And you know what I see when I look at this movement on the hour chart? It's very blatantly this is a manipulated movement, right? You can see here, right, the way that it's being sold down tells me, right, in this straight line, okay, this tells me that this is an algo based movement, right? This means that for the most part the algos are manipulating Shiba Inu and moving it where they want, right? Because if you see like a movement like this or like this, even this, right, it's more natural. But just a movement like this, that's not natural. That's something that algos do, right? It's not retail, it's not big money. It just slowly boom, slowly boom, slowly boom, slowly boom, right? That's what we're seeing here, and that's what the algos do. It's called a short ladder attack, right? Basically, and that's what we're seeing here. Now, it's not just Shiba Inu. So we have Ethereum down here 8%, right? Dropping off after hitting 4,000. It's close to 3,000, right? We're seeing Bitcoin, of course, pull back here. After hitting the high at 73,000, it's already at 63,000. It had a little bit lower level, 62,000 it falled into when I woke up. Solana, after hitting 200, now dropping 11%. So you can see all across the board, everything is dropping here today, and it's normal. It's part of the game. It's part of the crypto markets. The extreme greed went up. I'm thinking that tomorrow we'll see it, tonight we'll see it go down a little bit, but this is just part of it, right? I showed you yesterday that in one day we will enter the danger zone. So this is happening today, where historical pre-halving retraces have begun. Now, actually, Bitcoin, like this whole cycle, started the retracement a little bit before, right? So in 2020, the retrace was 20% and began 14 days before the halving. This retrace only lasted a few days, but preceded an over 150-day reaccumulation period before Bitcoin broke into its parabolic uptrend. So think about this. Let's say 150 days is about 5 months. So we could potentially see 5-month period here where it's in Hebrew we have a word medashdesh, which basically means not going here, not going there, right? It's a consolidation, or you could call it kangaroo market or something like that, where it just moves a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down, right? In 2016 we saw 40% retrace. So far, right, if we take a look how much Bitcoin has retraced from the top here, let's remove the lines, make it easier. It's down 14% in the last 5 days. So it's less than the 2020 so far, right? But it's a little bit, it's right. We had 20% in 2020, so we're not there yet. And it's also a little bit earlier than when it happened in 2020. So this is an interesting scenario. But again, if we take a look at the indicators that I like to use, the stochastic full, right? I think this is a good zone for Bitcoin, and a good thing that we're seeing a little bit of a sell-off, reducing some of the pressure, shaking out a lot of the leverage positions. Although if you go and you look, we're only seeing 630 million that got liquidated in the last 24 hours. That means that the weren't huge short or long positions. Of course, most of the liquidation will happen on the long side, 521, but there is some short liquidations happening as well. And now it's not, a taboo to potentially, short the market. If you feel that this is an opportunity and you want to short the market, it's not taboo. And our partner Margex gives you that opportunity where you can short the market. You can use leverage if your heart desires, right? Link is in the description down below. And I kind of warned about this possibility where I was talking about opening insurance positions on the market, right? And I'm sure that many of you, it went in one ear and went out the other ear, right? Because when someone tells you open an insurance position on your crypto investments, you're like, nah, I don't need that, right? But if someone tells you need insurance for your car, you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, right? Same kind of thing here. But of course, most people did not open that insurance position. So it is what it is. We're already seeing a little bit of a pullback. I don't know how long this pullback will continue. Again, this cycle has been a little bit different. It could be tomorrow the Fed says some things that the market does not like, and we see the sell-off continue, and we see Bitcoin drop under 60,000. Like, this could happen. I'm not a prophet. I don't have any insider information. I don't know what the Fed is going to say. I don't know how the market is going to react. You have to be open for all of the possibilities, okay? And we did see, though, this could have also, made a kick in the Bitcoin and the sell-off here, is the fact that yesterday, after we saw many positive days on the Bitcoin ETFs, we saw a negative inflow day. So there was a lot of selling off from Grayscale, right? And they, have high fees. So we're seeing a lot of people move out from Grayscale into others, right? And the fact is, when it's dipping, then people are going to be like, wait a second, I'm also paying high fees and the price of Bitcoin is dipping, right? So they start selling off a little bit. And so that's what we're seeing. We saw that also happening last time when the ETFs opened. There was a lot of selling off from Grayscale, and that kind of pushed the market all the way down to 40-ish thousand. So we had a negative day yesterday, and again, that's affecting what's happening now pre-market, and we'll see, right, when the market opens up. Not that, this one. Are the Bitcoin ETF holders diamond or paper hands? We're going to find out shortly, right? Are they buying the dip? I'm sure MicroStrategy is buying the dip. I'm sure maybe Coinbase and the others that raised money will be buying the dip. But the question is, will the Bitcoin ETFs be buying the dip? Maybe they will, just as an accumulation. This is actually good for them. I've talked about this. They don't want the price to go up too much, right? If it goes up too much, then people won't want to invest. And if it pulls back, then people will be, oh, maybe now's an opportunity to get in on this 15-20% discount. Right. Again, I don't know if it's a discount. This is what people might be thinking, but it's very interesting. I did see, though, on BitMEX, right, on the Arthur's site, that I forgot to bring that up, but there was a drop to like 10,000 on Bitcoin. Someone put a sell order at 10,000 and someone caught it. right? Someone put in a limit, or I don't know what that was, 10,000, and some algo caught that, and so if you look at the BitMax graph, it dropped down to 10,000 and came back. So just be careful, like where you're putting your if your orders, and make sure you know what you're doing, right? So interestingly, the world's largest pension fund in Japan looks at adding Bitcoin, a 1.43 trillion pension fund. We also learned about Japan that they were, after many years of negative interest rates, they are changing their policy and pushing that up a little bit. Be interesting to see what happens with the Japanese economy going forward. I am very fond of Japan. I've been there twice, so I'm interested in their economy, and we'll see what happens here. We are seeing Shiba Inu investors accumulating. We saw Shiba Inu 500 billion accumulation. For the most part, by the way, you can see Bitcoin dropped off here. Shiba Inu is holding the line, right? For the most part, right? It didn't dip under that support level, the blue line here. It got close, but it didn't cross over. So that's a positive, right? It got close, but didn't drop under that. It keeps getting back to the yellow line here. The resistance at 25.88. It's holding nice. It dropped off, of course, from from where we were a week ago. But if we look at it, let's say against Pepe. So Pepe made a massive sell-off after, breaking the zero, right? Deleting a zero. It's down like 44% in the last 6 days. So for the most part, Shiba Inu, it went up less, but is dropping less. So that's, I don't know, is it a silver lining? 23%, 22% in the last 6 days. So, maybe it's the silver lining. It could also be, right? We were talking about the book of memes and Slurf and all that were, breaking billion-dollar market caps, right? And now both of them sold off a little bit, but actually during the night, Slurf went over $1 billion and then pulled back 40% again. Is this kind of meme coin activity, a sign of the local top? We talked about that as well as something that, could have given us a signal that there was a sell-off coming. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 things all together are creating kind of a perfect storm here for a sell-off. Again, it's normal. It's part of the crypto game, and I'm not freaking out about it at all. Don't forget to smash the like button. Check out the links in the description down below. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.